In the heart of a dense, ancient forest stood a weather-beaten hut, home to a solitary woman known only as the Silent Keeper. Villagers living at the forest's edge spoke of her with hushed tones, claiming she had dwelled there for as long as anyone could remember. They described her as a reclusive figure who communicated only through silent gestures and solemn expressions, never uttering a word. Rumors suggested that the Silent Keeper guarded a dark secret each night. As the moonlight filtered through the trees, eerie noises echoed from the hut's soft, mournful whispers and the faint sound of shuffling footsteps. The villagers heard these unsettling sounds, but avoided the hut, fearing the wrath of its enigmatic inhabitant. One bitterly cold winter night, a desperate traveler sought refuge in the forest, noticing smoke rising from the chimney of the hut. He decided to ask for shelter. The Silent Keeper welcomed him with a nod and a gesture towards the warmth of the hearth. Grateful and shivering, the traveler accepted. As the fire crackled, the traveler observed something peculiar. Despite the hut's small size, it was crammed with old, dusty books and ancient artifacts. The keeper moved silently among them, as if searching for something curious. The traveler inquired about the books. The keeper's eyes darkened, and she silently beckoned him to a hidden room behind a creaky bookshelf. Inside, the room glowed with an eerie light. At its center stood an ornate mirror covered in cobwebs. The keeper pointed to the mirror, and then at the traveler, urging him to look. As the traveler peered into the mirror, his reflection distorted into a scene of a shadowy figure alone in a vast, dark void. His heart pounded as the shadowy figure's gaze seemed to pierce through him. Suddenly, the figure began to move towards the traveler. An icy hand gripped his shoulder. He turned to find the Silent Keeper behind him, her eyes wide with silent terror. Her hand trembled as she pointed at the mirror, which now reflected only darkness. Filled with dread, the traveler tried to flee, but found the door locked. The mirror's darkness enveloped him, and an unbearable cold consumed him. The Silent Keeper, her face etched with sorrowful resignation, watched as the traveler was drawn into the mirror. In the days that followed, the hut stood eerily silent. When villagers investigated, they found it abandoned, with the mirror covered in a thick layer of dust. The only clue to the traveler's fate was a haunting inscription scratched into the mirror's frame. The keeper of the silence is bound to the darkness. Thus, the legend of the Silent Keeper grew a guardian of a mirror that ensnared the souls of the curious and brave, forever trapped in the shadowy realm